Hi, my name is Elise Holmes.
I'm Ashlyn Dyson.
And I'm Quinn Brown.
And today we're going to be talking about how sports generates revenue. So to start, Quinn's going to talk about sponsorships and NIL.
Yep, so when you watch a game, whether it's football, basketball, or any other sport, you're probably seeing logos all over the place, on jerseys, stadiums, and even in commercials. But these sponsors aren't just there for exposure, they're paying big money to be a part of action. Sponsorship is when companies partner with sports teams or leagues to promote their brand. This can range from visible logo placements to exclusive products or even naming rights for stadiums. These deals can be worth millions, sometimes billions of dollars, depending on the size and the sport of the team. Tens of thousands of fans in the stands, plus millions or more watching on TV and streaming online. It is goldmine for brands wanting to get their name in front of customers. And it's not just about the exposure, it's also about the emotional connections fans have with their teams and the players on the teams as well. When you talk about sponsorships, there are 4 types of sponsorships: athlete sponsorship, team sponsorships, event sponsorships, and venue sponsorships. Athlete sponsorships, they typically pay a fee in exchange for the right to have their brand associated with the athlete, who will wear the sponsor's logo on their uniform, use the sponsor's products, and appear in advertising and marketing campaigns. A team sponsorship, this involves sponsoring a professional or college athlete or team. The sponsor pays a fee for the right to display their brand on the team's uniform or equipment and advertising and marketing campaigns. A event sponsorship is it involves sponsoring a specific sport event, such as a tournament or a game. The sponsor typically pays a fee in the exchange for the right to have their brand displayed at the event, and marketing campaigns and media coverage. And on top of all of that, there's also venue sponsorships. Venue sponsorships involve sponsoring a specific sport venue, such as a stadium or arena. The sponsor typically pays a fee in exchange for the right to have their brand displayed throughout the venue, advertising and marketing campaigns, and the media coverage as well.
So how does NIL affect sponsorships now in college sports that athletes are able to get paid?
Well, I can give you examples. So recently, there's this top recruit, number 1 player in the country named Bryce Underwood. He was committed to LSU. He is now decommitted from LSU, and he committed to Michigan about 1 week ago. He was offered $10.5 million to commit to Michigan and decommit from LSU. That's just one of the many examples of how NIL has, just changed everything about college sports and just marketing and itself. All right, so now we're going to hand over it to Elise and talk about branding.
Yeah, so branding is something that I think a lot of people don't think about when it comes to sports. Obviously, we see a brand on a jersey, a hat, a keychain. We all love to represent our favorite sports teams, whether it be memorabilia or actual merchandise. Merchandising is something that is really, really important to sports, and it really does all start with branding. It's more than just a logo or a catchy team name. It really, truly represents the entire identity of a team or an athlete. It is what makes them unique and memorable to fans and to other people who see the brand and instantly recognize a brand. Like, you see the Reds logo, I'm from Cincinnati. Every time I see the Reds logo, even if it's not meant to be the Reds logo, I think to myself, oh, that's Cincinnati Reds. So there's other teams like that, like Manchester United or Real Madrid if you're soccer fans. These clubs truly have built global empires on their strong brands. Everyone knows the Manchester United red jersey. Another big example of this is FC Barcelona. You could literally be anywhere in America and someone probably has on an FC Barcelona jersey. They're just very recognizable.
So when you talk about these big companies that are very successful, what can companies do to make their brand so successful and stand out?
So there's other things. Like I said, the brand is not just a logo. It represents the whole identity of a company. If you want to build up a company's brand, you're going to, a lot of these companies that are building their brand, they do rely on athletes. So making sure that the athletes that are representing their brand are people who are trustworthy and not people who are going to, get themselves into trouble, become big headlines for the wrong reasons. You're going to make sure that they're people who can truly represent who you are as a company, but also be able to represent themselves as good people. So that truly is a really good way for brands to make themselves have a stronger identity. I also think relying on fans and making sure that the fans, they're getting feedback from fans and listening to what their fans want, because especially when it comes to merchandising, but also with the brand, if you aren't listening to, at the end of the day, the fans are what helps you build the brand. The fans are what helps you generate revenue, and if you aren't giving them what they want per se, they're probably not going to be able to, you're not going to be able to generate as much revenue. So yeah. So as I was saying before, David Beckham, for example, another soccer player, he is someone that represents, kind of tying back to the question Quinn asked, he's someone who represents Adidas and their jerseys. It's estimated that they sold about 10 million replica Beckham shirts during his whole entire career. And that's not only a really good brand for Adidas, but it's also building personal brand between the athletes as well. Another thing that has really helped teams build their brands recently has been the increase in social media and the digital age, like online shopping. Social media has helped brands build themselves up and kind of help fans see brands and companies and teams in a new perspective. You're getting a lot more closer detail about who athletes actually are, which in turn helps generate the brand, in my opinion. And also, every time an athlete posts on Instagram or TikTok or any form of social media in their team's logo, they're representing their brand and they're promoting that brand, and people are going to want to buy more things based on that. And it is actually researched that sports merchandising, the market will most likely reach $50 billion by the end of 2030. So there is a lot of revenue that comes with branding and merchandising, and that's why I think it's so important that brands really do focus on making sure that they have good brands, good logos, good people representing them, and also that their merchandise is smooth and is something that fans want. Okay, now I'm going to take you over to Ashlyn, where she's going to talk to you about ticket sales and in-game purchases.
Yes, so as everybody can assume, a sports franchise would not be successful without fans and their purchase of tickets. Even if they're cheaper than others, they still need to generate some revenue. There's a ton of competition in the industry, and a lot of franchises have bigger names than others. For example, the Yankees, everybody knows the Yankees even if you don't watch baseball, or the Warriors when they were in their electric era. They're very popular, and therefore their ticket sales are going to be higher and produce a lot more revenue for their franchise. Mm-hmm. To lead into things, the NFL, NBA, MLB, and even European soccer clubs, as Elise mentioned, depend on their ticket revenue as a significant portion of their income. Every game played is in front of thousands, sometimes millions actually, because people are watching online as well, fans, and some require subscriptions to watch those things. To go into concessions, teams and leagues also rely heavily on their concession sales. After the tickets are purchased, now the fans are going to be hungry and thirsty. And as we all know, concession stand prices are a lot higher than average. For example, a water bottle might be $1 or $2 at a grocery store, but now it's $5 or so because they know that you need it. For example, in 2015, MLB franchises reported revenues of over $610 million from the sale of food, drinks, and concessions.
Wow.
15 years ago, the NFL estimated that fans spent more than $9 billion on food and beverages. And then jumping again forward to 2015, it was estimated that the average fan spent roughly $73 per person on concessions. This is actually an increasing number as society is evolving and changing, as well as technology. Fans are likely to spend more money because now a lot of times when we go to games, we see a little QR code on our armrest, and that actually pulls up a menu for us, and we can order concessions online to where we don't even need to get up out of our seats, which is usually a big reason why people don't get out of their seats, because they don't want to wait in the lines, they don't want to miss anything in the game. Now all they do is just a click of a finger and they have their food delivered to them.
Marquise, we're handing it to you.
The impact of broadcast rights on sports revenue. Broadcasting rights have been a cornerstone of TV revenue, with most major in sports industries like major sports leagues, like lucrative deals such as those who negotiate by NFL and the Premier Leagues, and they provide the immense financial potential of these agreements. These leagues can secure multi-million-dollar deals in broadcasting several types of revenue and stable revenue. One of the primary advertisements of broadcasting rights contractors is the guaranteed revenue they provide. Unlike ticket sales, which are sometimes affected by poor weather and fluctuated demands, also broadcasting deals often consistent financial foundations, and this allows stable organizations to plan long-term investments and develop strategies with greater confidence. Broadcasting rights have significant increases the reach of sports by making games accessible to broader audience and attract more fans and sponsors. This expanded not only the areas of the popularity of sports and added revenue streams through advising sports teams, also guarantee substantial income by running ads before and during and after live on-demand video streams. These services commanded higher rates, and advisees due to their engaged audience further boost the financial returns from broadcasting deals, and television deals have an impact in revenue too by the featured athletes and promotional skits where they endorse several types of products. This forms advertisements used by athletes' popularity and enhance the brand visibility and drive sales, and helping both sports and companies involved. Also, I found this interesting. I found this interesting. Between 2020 and 2023, the 5 major U.S. sports leagues collectively earned $4.3 billion TV revenue. The NFL lead the way, guaranteed $8.7 billion, followed by the NBA and MLB, which brought $10.9 billion each.